Here is a 2008 Silverado fuel tank, and it's out of the truck because the complaint was smell of fuel. And this is a common problem with these trucks. I've done a good handful of them. But here's your fuel pump right over there. And what happens is, as you can see, as the top just rusts out, the salt and snow and moisture sit on top of the fuel tank, and it just sits there and rusts out. And as you can see right here, this is your fuel supply. The nipple is actually missing. It's rusted that much. So what happens is when you cycle your key, it sends power to the fuel pump, tries to send power to the engine, and part of it leaks out. So the fix is a whole new fuel pump housing, which they sell as a unit. Can't just buy just a cover or whatever. This fuel pump is still good, and this is the second one I've done this year, I think within about 6 months. That fuel pump's still good, but because of that rusty top, you got to buy a whole new fuel pump. Now, I stick with OEM fuel pumps just because of the work involved in getting it out. It's not worth it to save a couple bucks to me. And if you order online, it's actually cheaper than most parts house. So this one actually came from Rock Auto. It's a GM. I think it was 255 shipped. And they got a bunch of different ones depending on your engine and which wheelbase and whatnot of your vehicle. So you got to make sure you get the right one. You got to know how to decode all that. But here is where I'm going with this. This is a lock ring, and as you can see, everything on here is rusty. So getting the fuel tank out is only half the battle. Now you got to get this lock ring off, and your fuel pump sits in here, goes in first, and then this lock ring. And this lock ring, when it goes on, twists like that, and these tabs hold it in. Right now it goes on real easy because the fuel pump isn't in there. When I go to put the new one in, it's a bear. And after it sits and rusts together, there's a metal clips molded into the plastic tank that rusts to the ring. So a couple little tricks I've learned is first blow everything off clean as much as you can. And then what you're supposed to do is just take a punch screwdriver on these tabs and work your way around. Well, that just doesn't work most of the time unless you don't have rust. So what I found is an air hammer. Let me zoom out. This is an old Mac. It's not that powerful. I have a new Astro that is very powerful, but you don't want to use that on plastic. So what I do is I just go around the inside here and tap away at it. And what that does is break up the rust. And then once the rust is broke up, you can see I tried pounding on the tabs, and some of these tabs broke off or they started to bend. What I did was I just took a pliers, worked them back and forth, and got rid of them. I figure any resistance you can get rid of, the better. So that's where that is. And then I take the punch and I just go like this. Now you have to be careful that you don't dig into the plastic tank, because I mean, an air hammer, you could, in theory, go right through the tank if you're not careful. So now it's ready for a new pump. Just got to clean it up a little bit. Do yourself a favor, order a new lock ring right away, because you're going to need it. Also, look at ordering these lines. This one, as you can see, let me try and zoom in. As you can see, that's the nipple from the fuel pump. It's stuck in there. I can try and get it out, but what I've done is I bought a kit from, I think Dorman makes it, that is a fuel line repair kit. It actually is meant for these nylon hoses, and you can cut and crimp a new end on. And it works great. All these quick connects, it comes with a bunch of them. It's a fairly expensive kit, but overall, it so far has worked great. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this off. There's usually enough line. You just need a little bit to get on a new fuel pump. So I will do a video on doing that too, but I just want to show you a couple of tricks for getting this lock ring off. And since this is a common problem, I'm guessing if you're watching this video that you're doing this repair yourself, or going to be shortly. So if you can, order these lines. This one you cannot get the fitting for, so order that line. That's the evap, one of the evap lines. This is your fuel line. This is another evap line. This one is usually pretty good. This one you'll need a new one, and this one just order the hose because you can't get the ends alone. So hopefully this helps somebody. I'll make a video for how to repair your fuel lines, and that's it. Thanks.